I'm Bran, and I love Mission Impossible.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I really like Mission Impossible.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I also love Mission Impossible. And this is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Well,
Good to see you guys through a screen.
good to see you, Rye Guy.
Yep.
the
Another week.
what happened? Last I heard, and it was 2 days ago, you were coming.
Yeah, we talked about it
We did.
on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said you're going to be here.
Yes.
I had bought a ticket. Well, I talked to you guys about it offline. I bought a ticket,
Yeah.
and I said, surely there's no way that, like, what's the worst that's going to happen, right?
Nothing. You should be good to go. It's a flight. You didn't fly to
do you-
Newark, did you?
No,
You're good to go.
Although we are all united, the three of us.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Do we have Cletus on the line?
There's
don't
no
know,
way
do
to
we?
know.
Dan, would you know?
Hey, man. Hey.
Cletus, that you?
That's me. What you doing?
So, Cletus.
I've about had a good gosh darn enough of you. I can tell you
Cletus-
that right now.
Cletus, was it a coincidence? And just be honest. Like, was it a coincidence that when I got to LaGuardia yesterday, that there was four gentlemen in Halo video game suits, Halo the video game suits, right by the entranceway? Was that a coincidence?
First of all, pop quiz hot shot. You spell coincidence. Spell it.
COINCIDENCE.
Okay, so you got that one. You think you're
Thank
Mr.
you.
Big? You're Mr. Big Shot now, huh? Because you can spell. Congrats, spelling champ. You big spelling bee.
Cletus.
You big spelling bee boy
Means
now.
a lot coming from
To
you.
be
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
Cletus, are you making fun of him for knowing how to spell?
You leave well enough alone.
Okay.
You understand? Nobody asked you a gosh darn thing.
Cletus.
Right, guy. You listen here. Whether
No
or
test-
not
no
there was
testimony.
any halos at the place is beside the point. You want to fly, you fly. Go ahead, fly, boy.
Cletus,
you
Cletus,
want to fly,
Cletus,
you
my
fly.
guy.
Hold on.
Ain't
Cletus,
nobody
couldn't you-
stopping
couldn't
you.
you see-
Nobody's stopping you from flying nowhere.
Ryan, you got
Ain't
there and you
nowhere.
saw four people in Halo suits, and you said
Bran,
it's too
wouldn't
much
you be
for me.
Wouldn't you be a little alarmed, Bran, if a week after Cletus of all people made a Halo the video game reference and always talks about his people, that there are four gentlemen cosplaying as Halo?
We had our annual screening of You Don't Mess with the Zohan, and we were not anywhere but there, and you know it.
Was that screening somewhere near the LaGuardia airport?
No, it
Cletus?
was not. It was in Biloxi, Mississippi, like it always is.
Yeah.
the
So you're telling me, Cletus, you brought up Halo last week, and it just so happened
Once again, spell coincidence. Spell it.
COINCEDNCE.
You missed it, big guy. With Biloxi,
try, though,
Mississippi's annual showing of You Don't Mess with the Zohan, I was there, front row. I have front row tickets. I don't know nothing about no Halo video game.
Well, Cletus, the gentlemen were wearing
cosplaying.
masks. Halo wears a
Who
mask.
and when and where you try to cosplay is your business. It's not mine.
So to finish the
He's
thought,
all spellbound over
I
there.
went
Thinks
home.
he's in, yeah, okay.
I ate the cost of the ticket because it was a little uncomfortable.
Is there anything we can do for next week?
I don't know. I mean, I might. You know what? And
Cletus, do you
I'm gonna
promise-
wear a different shirt next week.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
He's
not
three,
that
he's
trying.
3 for 3. He's 3 for 3
know.
on the same shirt. I'll give him
Well,
that.
it's not
I'll give him
helping
that.
the situation.
Yeah.
Like-
spending less time in the spell books.
Okay, but Cletus, are you promising that you're standing down and there's nothing to worry about in
I don't
regard
need
to
to
the
stand anywhere other than with the Zohan. You don't mess with the Zohan.
Just promise that
That's
you're
Adam
not gonna
Sandler's best movie.
promise you're
It's
not
hysterical.
promise you're not
It's
going to
not
mess
problematic
with
at
Ryan.
all.
Promise you're not going to mess
It's
with
a
Ryan.
hairdresser. It's Adam Sandler's a hairdresser. Have you seen it, big guy?
No. Promise that you're not going to mess with Ryan.
You don't. He's a Zohan, and you don't mess with him.
There's
That's
no
the
talking
thing.
to
avoiding
him,
the
Bran, when he's
question.
like
That's
this.
right.
He's
Bran, when he's
avoiding-
like
Ryan's
this,
free to
there's
do it.
no
It's a
talking
free
to him.
country last time I checked.
Mission
No
Impossible.
thanks to you, Democrat.
But just because I can spell?
We haven't talked about
We haven't
Ryan's
talked about
political-
politics at all. I don't know where Cletus got that.
I think he's making some assumptions.
Yeah, I think he is
Dan,
too.
Dan, you show a lot
Dude,
of restraint during those, and I give you a lot of
I
credit.
just got back in time to hear him call you a Democrat, and I'm sorry about that. That was weird of him to do out of context. I don't even know what the context was, but out of
Voting is
context
private.
was very
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
It's private business who you vote for.
Let's talk.
He didn't talk about you don't mess with the Zohan, did he?
He did.
He did?
No, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Brought that up.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of
Just a
people are
movie
gonna
about a
get that.
hairdresser, according
Yeah.
to Cletus.
Let's
Yeah.
talk Mission Impossible 3. It originally came out on May 5th, 2006, and went a little something like this. Movie kicks off, it's mid standoff.
Oh boy.
This dude's asking Ethan, "Where's the rabbit's foot?"
Where is he?
Ethan is like, I gave you the rabbit's foot, you little weirdo. He's like, you have until the count of 10 or I kill your booth thing over there. And there's yelling. It's serious. And Ethan is like, I will help you find the rabbit's foot, but you have to let me go. Dude says 10. Gunshot cuts to the Mission Impossible theme, and it's back to form, everybody. They heard our concerns. I know that we recorded it. They probably didn't do it because of what we did in 2025, but I like to take credit for it.
Yeah.
Cut back. We're going to cut back a bit, everybody. Ethan's living a normal life. He is engaged to a woman named Julia, and she's not Nyla. I hope she's well. Hope Nyla's good. We're at their engagement party. Ethan gets a call. He knows that it means to go and meet at a gas station and have a conversation. So he tells Julia he's got to go get ice. At the gas station, he meets his buddy John from the IMF. He tells them about a mission to rescue one of Ethan's proteges, Lindsay. Lindsay, who's been captured while investigating an arms dealer named Owen Davian, who is the guy from the beginning of the movie. Normally, the IMF would just disavow any captured agents. We're not going to mess with that. But apparently, she may be the only clue to get to Davian, who is a high priority for the IMF. So they're going to try to figure this one out. After a night of sleep, Ethan decides that he's in. He meets his old friend Luther and a couple of other folks. They raid a warehouse where Lindsay is. She tells Ethan that she needs to talk to him, but there's no time. They get to a helicopter, and Lindsay begins to complain about some serious pain in her head. Ethan uses a fancy head scanner thing to discover there's a micro explosive implanted in her head. He tells her that he's going to need to use the defibrillator. Did you say it right? Defibrillator?
I don't think there's a U inside there.
Defibrillator.
Defibrillator. Yes.
There's an R in it. Oh, the R always throws
I've
me
heard
off.
it both ways, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm going to just call
Dude,
it.
I wish we had tape of you who what wins trying to say nuclear.
I'm going to just
He
say.
said nuclear 8 times. It was fantastic.
I'm going to call it the defib.
The defibrillator.
To disable the thing in her head. But before they can charge her, you gotta charge that thing. It goes off, she dies. When he gets back to the IMF, he's in big trouble. The IMF director, Theodore Brassel, tells him that he's lucky to even be alive now. He didn't follow the orders at all. Ethan finds out that the IMF technician, Benji Dunn, has recovered enough of the damaged laptops that they took with them from the warehouse, and they think that is going to give them some info. They find out that Davian is going to be at the Vatican City to get, quote unquote, the rabbit's foot, something that he is planning to sell for $850 million. So Ethan once again has to tell Julia that he's got to travel for work. Before leaving, him and Julia have an impromptu wedding at the hospital chapel, and then they kiss big ones and go to the closet to do I don't know what. We don't get to see.
You don't know. We don't know.
Could be anything.
They just got married. So
Right.
It was above board.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm pro it. And off he goes to the Vatican City to capture Davian. The plan is going perfectly, complete with masks, switch 'em ups. It's a whole thing. And they all escape on a boat. It's the perfect plan. They even make everybody think that Davian died in a car explosion. On the flight back, Davian wakes up and immediately threatens to kill Ethan and his wife when he finds out who he is. This makes Ethan very mad, and when Davian won't share where the rabbit's foot is or who the buyer is, he dangles Davian out of a plane, which causes Luther to tell Ethan not to do that, which gives Davian the information about his first name, that information. After landing, Ethan learns of a video of Lindsay warning that she believes that IMF Director Brassel is working with Davian. Just then, the convoy that has Davian in it is suddenly attacked and Davian escapes. Ethan is able to get his hands on the briefcase that contains the location of the rabbit's foot. Ethan is very concerned about Julia, so he rushes to the hospital to warn her, but it is too late. She's been taken. Davian calls Ethan and gives him 48 hours to recover the rabbit's foot for Julia's life. And then Ethan is captured by the IMF. Brassel holds him there and calls him a rogue agent. His buddy, Agent John Musgraves, from the beginning, comes in and to question him, but really he's telling him stuff by not saying it, because we heard earlier he can read lips.
True
We
story.
knew that from the party, and everything matters in Mission Impossible. And so thanks to that information, he knows what he has to do, and he slips him a knife. He uses that to escape. Armed with a delightful disguise, Ethan hops on a plane to Shanghai and meets his team, which Musgrave sent there under the guise of another mission. Ethan and his team raid a building where the rabbit's foot is secured and tells Davian that they have the rabbit's foot. Ethan goes to deliver the rabbit's foot with almost no time to spare. Davian tells him to arrive alone. He tags the rabbit's foot and sends the information to Musgrave so that he can track it. He is forced to show up with the rabbit's foot. He is given a liquid to drink, which knocks him out. When he wakes up, he is injected with the same micro explosion that Lindsay had in her head. Suddenly, we're back to the beginning of the movie. Davian questions where the rabbit's foot is, and Ethan is confused because he had it in his hand when he arrived, but it's not good. It's not good enough for Davian, and he shoots and kills Julia. Musgraves then walks in. We're like, what? Turns out it wasn't Julia at all, and Davian's and Musgraves not good. Davian's head of security, there was a mask, so
got it.
Wasn't
There's a mask involved.
Wasn't Julia at all. They put basically that was to help force Ethan to tell the truth, because they knew that they would if he was face to face with his wife about to die. Musgraves revealed that he himself is the mole, not Brassel's, and he explains that Ethan that all that he has to do is he's trying to get the U.S. to attack the Middle East in order to make sure that they don't use the rabbit's foot, and so that's the whole thing. We want to start war. We love war. What is it good for? Mission Impossible movie. But Musgraves knows about Lindsay's message, and he demands to know what was on it. Ethan won't tell him, so he calls up to show that he does indeed have Julia captive. Ethan bites his hand. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, but bite the hand of the guy who is holding your wife hostage. He calls Benji and asks him to track where the last call from Musgrave's phone came from. Benji gives that information despite Ethan being a wanted man. He stays on the phone with him and leads him through Shanghai to get him to Julia. Unfortunately, Davian is also there. He tells Ethan that he's going to kill Julia in front of him, but Ethan fights back, pushes him out into the road, rolls Davian on top of him so that he gets hit by a truck while the truck passes perfectly over top of Ethan. He runs back to free Julia, but it's at this point that the micro explosion begins to go off in his head. He knows he doesn't have a lot of time, so he's stumbling around trying to find a defib. So he makes a homemade one because there's there's not one in sight, and he teaches Julia how to use a gun. Asks her to electrocute him, bring him back to life. So she proceeds to do all of that perfectly, including killing Musgraves, a trained assassin. She punches Ethan in the chest and he comes back to life. He explains to Julia what he really does and brings Brassels the rabbit's foot. Brassels tries to convince him to stay on, but Ethan says, I'm going to send you a postcard, and the whole office cheers as Ethan and Julia walk off together, never to be seen again. And that, my friends, was Mission Impossible 3.
We did it.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll break this movie down a little bit more here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Mission Impossible 3 today. It is time to share our hot takes, where we share our thoughts.
We talk
our
exactly.
feelings. We talk exactly.
We talk exactly. We
share
talk exactly.
We share exactly
Do we
how
talk?
we felt about this movie. We
Exactly.
talk about it.
We'll share and talk.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I'll start with you, Rye. Share and talk. Exactly.
Well, I want to share. I've only seen this once before, but my memory of it was that it was fantastic and thrilling. And I came into it thinking that at worst, before I hit play, watching it that this time around, that it would be at worst my second favorite Mission Impossible by the end.
Dude, same. I would have said the same exact thing as you, maybe top 3 at worst. That's what I've said before watching the movie.
Yeah, so I don't know where you're gonna land. I still think this movie is incredible. I absolutely love it. Listen, once you get over the fact that the MacGuffin is called the Rabbit's Foot, like and
it doesn't. We never find out what it is. It is a pure MacGuffin.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the opening scene, which again gets referenced later, they abridge it later on, is just electric. Like, let's not bury the lead. If this movie ends up in my top 2 or top 1 or whatever, it's because of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman. I said last week that there had yet to be a great villain. Now, we don't get a ton of Philip Seymour Hoffman here. I think he's honestly only in
we needed
7
more
scenes.
We needed way more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an intentional choice on the film's part, one that I would have done differently, though, just because he's so incredible. Probably Tom Cruise's best performance, but that's probably because he gets to act opposite Philip Seymour. But Tom Cruise's best performance in a Mission Impossible film, not his best performance in the history of his career. But, I mean, really, sometimes, all you can say is Philip Seymour Hoffman's name 15 times over. Like, the action is great. Once again, if you watch this film on mute and the first 2 on mute, you would think that they are just from completely different stratospheres. Like, none of these movies are remotely alike, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, especially when you get here with this movie, which has its moments of levity and whatnot, but by and large, to Dan's point from the first 2 weeks, takes itself seriously, even with the 15 different masks that are going on. If this had wrapped the series, I would have happily said that this was the best of the 3 in a great way to cap this off. And one more time, Philip Seymour Hoffman was freaking, had to watch my mouth there, incredible.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was amazing, Brad.
Yeah, this movie slaps. It slaps. And you and I were in lockstep there about not really caring about the bad guys in 1 and 2. And I think one way to get you to care about the bad guy in a movie is what?
Make him
Cast
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
but
right.
also start the movie off in this way that throughout the full beginning of the movie where they're setting stuff up, we have this villainous character from the first minute of the movie that is true, is going to kill his wife. We hear gunshots before
it's
the
the
mission.
best decision Abrams made was to start it with that scene.
And so to do that, I am now invested in who is this bad guy and when are we going to get back to him? Something that wasn't the case. Part of it, obviously, is the amazing performance of Philip Seymour Hoffman, but also it's just a really great way to start this movie. Really, really fun movie all the way through. I had an absolute blast. No notes. Dan?
No notes.
No notes.
Yeah, I'm not with these 2 guys. I will say I love this movie. I love the movie, so I am with them on that front. I don't know if it's better than 1. The movie that I remember that Ryan was talking about is this movie that has all of this emotion in it, frames these people as humans, gives Ethan Hunt a love interest, and then also has the Joker from the Dark Knight equivalent of these movies, Philip Seymour Hoffman as the bad guy. I remembered the Rabbit's Foot. I typically don't remember those things, but if you'd asked me about 3, I'd have been like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Rabbit's Foot. Upon watching the movie, it's still very intense and it still moves very quickly and is exhilarating and entertaining. I think all of these movies do those things. I think that is a bar cleared by all 8. I think 2 is entertaining. It's terrible. It's terrible. This movie's 3 is way better than 2, but they're all entertaining to me. So what I found was, aside from it being really entertaining, a couple of things that I was disappointed by. One, Philip Seymour Hoffman's just not around much. And it's not like the Joker where you feel like he's in every scene even though he's not there. I just thought he was missing. I needed more just complete, Philip Seymour Hoffman taking over and being dastardly and terrible. That's 1. 2, the stunts in this movie are lackluster. The big stunt in this movie, he swings from one building to another. And
rather unnecessarily.
And apparently, I looked it up. He did really do that stunt. They film it at night, and you don't really get any of the effects of seeing it. Like, part of the fun of these movies, for me anyway, is, you know, in 2, he's on that wall up there. In 4, he's in Dubai. In 6, he's skydiving. And you get the full brunt of, this guy is really doing this for entertainment. It takes you completely out of the plot, but puts you completely into entertainment. This movie doesn't contain a single scene like that, in my opinion. What it does have is the introduction of Simon Pegg, which I think is an important thing that we need to mention, because he's a huge part of this franchise and he's really fun in this role in a lot less time once again than I thought he got. I thought there was a lot more Simon Pegg and a lot more Philip Seymour Hoffman in this movie. There just isn't. So yeah, it's super entertaining. It's better than 2. I got to think about it. I think 1 is a more complete, put together movie, and I think I might like it more. I think I like the mystery of 1 more. I think the mask reveal in 1 is a lot more fun. But I don't know. Philip Seymour Hoffman's amazing. So I get that. I get that side of it too.
Let's get to all the feels. We're talking about what in this movie gives feels. We'll start with you, Right Guy.
Yeah, for me, it's just the cast overall. I mean, this is the Avengers assembling for sure. I mean, the Philip Seymour Hoffman, Tom Cruise go without saying, Simon Pegg. We haven't talked enough about Ving Rhames so far and how important the Luther character is to the franchise.
We haven't said him like at all, which is crazy.
Right. I mean, and especially by this point in the 3rd one, we have built the Ethan Luther relationship, and that carries us through the rest of the way and is really, I feel like, you know, to kind of Brand's point that he's been mocking for the first 3 weeks, the central relationship of Mission Impossible is really Ethan and Luther.
Yeah.
And
or
so,
Ethan and Benji,
Yeah, but also Maggie Q, Kerry Russell, like
Paula
J.J.
Patton.
Abrams brings in all of his, you know,
you're talking about 3.
Yeah.
My bad.
Like, I mean, like, so it's just a real ensemble cast, and much like with Gordon Bombay in the first one, Kerry Russell, and this becomes a theme going forward. Scream does this a lot too, like bring in stunt casty person and kill them in the first 5 minutes. I also wanted more Kerry Russell. I thought that dynamic between her and Ethan was interesting and possibly could have created some cool stuff plot-wise, but just an amazing cast, Brand, and I had forgotten how star-studded it was.
Man, when they're up in the plane and he pushes Philip Seymour Hoffman back, opens up the thing, pushes it down so he's just looking down at the ground. It's cutting the rope. It's just so good. Like, the tension there is so fun. And Philip Seymour Hoffman, as he does, is just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
He sits him back up and he's like, Ethan, like, I'm not gonna let you act like you just got me. I got you. I got you right where I want you. Such a great scene. So good. Dano?
If we're judging this movie by the scenes with Philip Seymour Hoffman in them, it's the best of them. Like, he's like Oscar good
in this. I'm not even joking. He always was Oscar good.
He was Oscar good in Along Came Polly. He shows up and he's Oscar good. He's special. It was special. God rest his soul. He's unbelievable in this movie, and I wish I'd seen more of him. I thought he was unbelievable. Some love that needs to be given in this cast that, like you mentioned a bunch of names. Lawrence Fishburne and Billy Crudup are in this movie.
I forgot Lawrence Fishburne.
And Lawrence Fishburne gives a great speech, like one of these speeches where he's like, you know, calling, you know, taking Ethan to task, and it looks like he's the bad guy, and Billy Crudup is there. And it's great. And Fishburne understands the assignment completely as what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to portray this head of the IMF. He's my favorite head of the IMF. I wish we got more of him. I really liked those two in that speech specifically.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way, what, and the mission or impossible. Here on.
Could be either.
It could be either. Hallmark.
Exactly.
Either. Welcome back, everybody. What up? It's time to talk.
Catchphrase, Brand's trying.
Yeah, trying.
What up?
Guys, Mission Mondays, early reviews They love it.
Decent.
Okay.
3 weeks in, yeah.
21
days or
Yeah.
so, yeah.
People are weirdly enough they want more Cletus, but
It's
we're trying to.
wild that they want. There's no way. Cletus is the
I
whole
want
show.
less of
That's
Cletus
the
in
early
my
word
life,
I'm
personally.
getting.
Yeah.
Well, according to him,
Did the Halo outfits? Did they have guns too?
Well, I didn't want to talk about
Yeah.
that, but yeah, I mean, like that was LaGuardia
They were out
security.
the gate, or they were outside.
No, we're
Just
talking about
standing
the
out of
sliding doors going into
Like
the
at
air,
the terminal. yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure you didn't just see cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brand. I think I can tell the difference between cops and Halo cosplayers.
You-
I'm
no,
not
we're-
an idiot.
We're talking about Halo the game.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page here.
All I'm
Yes.
saying is sometimes when you have the fear of Cletus, kind of the brain can do crazy things. You can see a police officer and you can think, oh, they're in Halo cosplay.
Are you saying I can't spell?
Spell
No.
coincidence.
Only
That's all
one
I'm
of you
saying.
spelled coincidence right. I want to be clear about that.
Brand was really close though.
He was.
Let's get
E's
to
and
the-
I's are tough.
That's right.
Exactly.
Let's get to the way what's. I'll start with you, Rye Guy. What made you go wait what while watching this Mission Impossible movie?
Pretty big leap to go from wondering what Ethan's double life is all about to marrying him 10 minutes later.
That's right.
It's
They made a choice in this movie. They
Who
made
am
a
I?
choice in this movie to make
Yes.
it about characters instead of a mission. They did.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
you don't know what the rabbit foot is, and there's literal explosives that have been implanted in people's brains. It's so stupid, but the characters are amazing. That's
Yeah.
a weird choice.
This is a better film than Taken 3, but similar setting in the sense that just in the sense that Taken 3, much like I think this film was designed, we're wrapping this up. We don't need another mission. We're here to give Ethan Hunt his happy ending, right?
That's right.
So it's just a different approach on how to tell the story. But yeah, I mean, she was like, "Hey, what's this life of yours about?" Oh, I do. So Lassiter from Psych and the other agents really did a remarkably bad job surrounding Ethan outside of the hospital. They get him about 20 seconds later, but just a word to Lassiter from Psych or guys in Halo costumes. If you're trying to surround someone, a semicircle isn't necessarily the way to go because there's still somewhere to run away. A circle would be what you're looking for there.
It's
It won't get it done. Yeah.
No, you maybe want the full effect. And then it brought me last one for me. It brought me a lot of ironic joy that the second Mission Impossible made, what was it, Brand, 5 years earlier, 6 years earlier, something like that.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah, 6 years earlier, the this message will self-destruct deal was told through a pair of sunglasses, which is technology that we still haven't mastered today.
That's right.
And in 2006, it was told through a Kodak disposable camera.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, which I got a big kick out of, but it just seems like those two things should have been reversed.
You
Yeah.
would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think
Yep.
so.
That's it for me, Bran.
Listen, he got rid of a lot of perfectly good ice out there.
There's a lot. Yeah, that's a big one for me.
To come up with this whole I got to go to the gas station. I don't know if you had to throw out all the ice. I think you just go up there and be like, "Hey, I got to run and get something," or even if you just.
I think you risk. People are going to clock him just taking all this ice outside and
Yes.
throwing it away.
Yes, and even if they don't, someone might walk out that back door and slip Home Alone style.
Home Alone style.
There's a lot of risk. Just say you got to run to the gas station. Just say you got to run to the store real quick. You forgot something.
Yeah, talk about Mission
It just
Impossible.
Seems like you seem like you did a lot of work.
A lot of work.
For potentially a lawsuit.
It's good ice too.
Potentially a lawsuit.
Potentially
People don't
a
talk
lawsuit.
about that.
Can you imagine as he saves the day, the world is saved, and he
You've
gets
been-
home, and then somebody gives him a subpoena to go to court.
You had so
To
much
go to
ice by the back door.
Judge Gino's personal injury court. He slipped on ice.
I didn't mean to.
No, you're Ethan
Do you
Hunt.
feel bad?
That's the Paramount Plus show. Yeah.
Do you feel bad about throwing the ice out the back door?
Yeah.
Do you have any
No,
regret?
Mr. Hunt, you can understand how someone wouldn't expect ice when they walk out to leave a property.
Now, you might think that this lawsuit sounds ridiculous. Check out Yo Gavel Gavel.
Yo,
There's
gavel,
more where
gavel.
that came from.
There's so much more where that came from.
Also at the party, he does do this fun party trick where he can read lips. And at the time, I'm like, that's so weird. You're a real creep ball. And all the women that are around his fiance are like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I think in real life, they'd be like, that's kind of weird that he was able to do that. And all of it is just so that later on in the movie, Hoth or whatever the guy's name is, it can do the thing and he can read the
That's
list.
right.
That's all that scene is there for. And it's a little weird, a little
Like, can he
creepy.
climb rocks? You bet he can.
bet he can. He's going to have to do it later on, and you know it because he can now. And then I got a kick out of the fact that the rabbit's foot, he's going to sell it for $850 million. And just like, why stop at that point? Just go full bill. Go full bill. You got rabbit's foot. Clearly it's a hot commodity. 800, like once you get past a certain point, just keep going, right? Like just
The other
keep
one on
going.
eBay wasn't going for a bill, so I think
I had to bump it down to $850 mil.
Yeah.
Like, how does the market, impact the price?
10 years ago, $150,000. This movie, $850
Like
let's-
talking sunglasses.
million.
Yeah.
meet in the middle somewhere, I guess.
somewhere between those two numbers.
How
Yes.
did they get to that number for the rabbit's foot? Dano?
And easily my favorite line of this movie, Lawrence Fishburne is really like just throwing the book at Ethan Hunt and says this line, which I'm still trying to figure out. We muddied through it for a while. We paused it. We tried to workshop it. See if you can help me here. He literally says, it's unfair to say that chocolate makes you fat, and I've eaten my fair share, and guess what?
That's it.
That's the whole line. That's the start to finish. Lawrence Fishburne just goes, it's unfair to say chocolate makes you fat, and I've eaten my fair share, and guess what? What are we supposed to say there? You're
Like,
fat?
That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't say that he's large.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say that he's skinny either. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I don't know if he's trying to say, look at me, I've eaten a lot of chocolate and I haven't gotten fat.
Is it
Also-
possible? Oh, sorry, Dan. Is it possible that he wants Ethan to actually guess?
That would be great. No, sir, you are not. Chocolate doesn't make you fat. Clearly.
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
It
You
doesn't-
can't ask your employees those questions.
He's also, does this chocolate make me look fat? He's using that as an illustration as to why you can't make an excuse for something. I don't remember what it was, but it's a terrible illustration. It doesn't make any sense regardless.
Just give it to me one more time.
It's unfair to say that chocolate makes you fat, and I've eaten my fair share, and guess what?
One more time.
Philo.tv/DTH.
I don't.
You can watch these guys concentrating just terribly to try to figure out.
I
what-
think he wants him to answer.
So
I think
wait,
he wants him to answer.
So it's not.
It's unfair to say that
the
chocolate makes you fat, and I've eaten my fair share, and guess what?
So do you think what he's getting? Okay. So what he might be saying there is that for that reason, I don't blame the chocolate.
Yes.
I blame my choices. You know. Guess
Well, that was
what?
beautiful.
That's a
Brand.
weird way to say it. I think that's
was
exactly
beautiful.
what he's trying to say. I don't think that does it, but I think that's what he's
got
trying to
it.
say.
I got it.
After,
Truth's excuses are lame. That's what Matt Thiessen
That's
said.
true.
For Reliant K.
accept consequence, accept blame.
That's exactly. Like he could have said that. He could have quoted Reliant K.
He could have easily.
America's greatest poets.
Or Limp Bizkit. They're on the payroll.
Down in flames.
They are.
That's right.
Yeah.
We go from that scene where Lawrence Fishburne waxes poetic about chocolate to them at the Vatican blowing up walls that have been around for thousands of years. I know they blow up a lot of stuff, but they are inside the Vatican blowing up walls. And it just seems like maybe don't. Like maybe have that anywhere else. I can't recall, and maybe I'm just wrong, where like, historical monuments of this caliber, the good guys during a heist in an action movie just blow it to smithereens. Do you know of when that happens? Or am I just, it seems like it was like, I just caught it this time. Maybe I'm wrong there. Right?
No, no. I mean, I haven't seen Conclave yet, though, so I don't.
Yeah, it's true.
Know.
Conclave's got a lot of explosions.
Yeah.
So if it explodes and the smoke is gray, what does it mean? What are the
White
different?
is, we got a new
White
pope.
is- okay.
Gray, we vote again.
Okay.
Red, somebody died.
Okay.
When do you know if it was the good gas, though?
Good
Yeah,
guess.
I don't know.
That's a different
I don't
story.
know.
Yeah.
Wait, was that this
can you-
episode? I don't
can you
know.
imagine-
No, it is not. We did that a
Last
week
one.
ago. It
Yeah.
seems like we just.
Can you imagine if you're, over there, you're on vacation and you see gray smoke coming from the Vatican, you're like, I didn't even know they were looking for a new pope. I didn't know.
It's news to me.
It's news to me.
Maybe
We got to be here for this?
Should we go vote? Should we go vote? Let's go
Do
vote.
we get to vote?
Yeah. They before the big stunt in this movie that Ryan already pointed out is kind of pointless of him swinging from building to building. He draws the buildings on glass, and he's talking to his All-American team. I guess Simon Pegg is from England, but Maggie Q, Ving Rhames are American. And they are consistently, Maggie Q is consistently throwing him out measurements in meters. And listen, I know that is the system that makes the most sense. All three of those people are Americans. If you get any American and go, hey man, draw 10 meters for me, they might have some problems. That would not be the same as drawing whatever that equivalent is, which is roughly 10 yards would be my guess, but it's not exactly the same. And this needs to be an exact, precise jump. You would think that Ethan Hunt, All-American Ethan Hunt, would use feet, yards, and inches. I'm just saying. I mean, it's the least he could do. He's Ethan Hunt.
He's Ethan Hunt.
Right?
You'd think so.
You'd think so. I can't believe Michelle Monaghan's character thinks that he works in transportation. I can't. I know that it's Mission Impossible. I can't believe it.
You want to believe the best in your
You
significant
want to believe
other,
the
you know?
best in your significant other. But if I'm Ethan, I'm starting to think maybe this isn't a match if she can't figure out that I don't work in transportation.
That was her mission.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. The company called, I got to be in Houston in 6 hours. Sweetie, it's midnight. You work in transportation.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
It's tough.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah.
It's time for Mission or Impossible. It's where we discuss
No
the
pressure
greater things in life and kind of put them in categories. You go ahead, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go mission because we need more of this, especially with the films we've watched for the Force Fridays, Fast
Fridays, yeah.
whatever the hell we've called
Fast
them.
or Fridays?
Yeah.
They
that
were
was the
all on
segment.
Friday.
yeah. But Luther at one point says it's right before the stunt at night where Tom Cruise could have just walked through the front door. But he goes, there is a point where bold becomes stupid. And I just think it's like they knew that, like, all right, 4 through 8 is going to be off the walls. Like Fast and Furious needed this. Like somewhere at the end of Fast 4, they should have been like, hey audience, just so you know, the next time we see you, we're going to be just absolutely stupid. Like, and I don't know if Star Wars needed this, but good on Mission Impossible for saying, on the off chance we come back 5 years from now, even though we wrap this one up with a neat and tidy bow, we're going to be ludicrous, not to be confused with the Fast and Furious character, Brandon.
I'm going Impossible on this one. Which,
really, dude?
Which I take,
Wow,
I
didn't see
take
it
to
coming.
mean disappointing.
Sure.
That's how I take it.
Cool.
For as amazing of a bad guy as Philip Seymour Hoffman was, and by the way, take another drink. Disappointed by his death. Is it cool that he rolls them into the road and he lays under the truck? Yes. But at the end of the day, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's been an amazing bad guy in this movie, at the end of the day, died because he got hit by a truck.
That's right.
That's it?
That's it.
That's
it.
For him? Maybe they had plans to like bring him back at some point. I don't know. And then unfortunately life happened. But it just seemed like he deserved more of a bigger send-off or some sort of bigger death. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. But like they trick you into thinking that it's really cool because he rolls into the road and the truck goes over him. But then when you think about it, it's like at the end of the day, he just got hit by a vehicle. And that's it. And so a little disappointed in the death there. That's all. Am I the only one?
He's not on screen enough. Yeah. I think that you're right. The bad guy is deserving of a better death than that, but he becomes kind of a weird, cog in the wheel or maybe a pawn. Like he becomes a part of this story that I would actually argue, Ryan, the fourth movie's plot makes more sense than the third movie's plot, but it is still way more bonkers new. Like what they do technologically is crazy in that movie. But the plot itself, 3 is as dumb as they come. Like it is fundamentally like we're injecting, pills into people's heads that will explode. Is just insane. But yeah, the death was what it was. Mine, I'm going to go Impossible. And the reason I'm going Impossible is because it's impossible to think about Tom Cruise in 2007 and to think that he became a movie star of the caliber he became again. This movie comes out right after he jumps on Oprah's couch. So like
He loved that woman.
within the same year.
You
So
get a car.
he does War of the Worlds. He's on top of the world, no pun intended. And then they start to, all this stuff is starting to come out, and it's like, we don't know if we like Tom Cruise anymore. And then he does a couple of movies for friends of his, Lions for Lambs, Valkyrie. These are movies where he's trying to like regain his footing. He does show up in Tropic Thunder. He's a friend of Ben Stiller's, but it looks, night and day with Cameron Diaz. It looks, for all intents and purposes, like Tom Cruise had a career, and that career was the 1980s and the 1990s, and then Mission Impossible and Steven Spielberg in the early 2000s. He had a great run, 25 years, and now he's just weird. The Scientology stuff is weird. The way he acts is weird. His relationships with, previously Nicole Kidman and now Katie Holmes, weird. He doesn't seem like he's acting right in the movies. He looks different. He had been written off. Like, after this movie comes out, there is a dry spell where it appears that Tom Cruise isn't going to have it anymore. And so for me, it's crazy that we're doing these movies because of what happens in 4 to 8. We're not doing them based upon 1, 2, and 3. We're doing Mission Mondays on Deck the Hallmark because from 4 to 8, it's about to get wild. It is about, like, one stunt in any of those movies, to do it one time would be unthinkable, unheard of. And he's going to do it over and over again, and he's going to reestablish himself as probably the only bankable original movie star still working today. And that's pretty phenomenal. It's pretty fascinating. And so to think about that at the end of this movie is quite something.
Makes you think maybe Scientology is it.
Could be. That's what Matt Thiessen was talking about, right?
That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think Cletus is a Scientologist?
I don't know, man.
Well, let's get to it next week.
Yeah, next week.
We got to say something for next week.
Save it.
Come
Save
on
it.
back next Monday for Mission Impossible 4. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, may the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.